All right, and we're live. Hello. Welcome to week 2 of the Start Sit Show with Dynasty Football Digest and the IDP guys, excuse me. I'm Dan Friedman at the Danny Fresh on Twitter. If you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
I'll go. I'm Seahawks Danny. And you can find me all over the place, the lounge on Friday nights. And I wrote some rookie articles. So if you have any rookie questions, I can take those. And for offense and defense, I'm writing for both websites. So giving offense a crack here. So I haven't gotten any hate mail yet. So I guess I'm doing okay. And
don't worry, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And IDP Nation on Wednesday mornings, I guess it'll be in your iTunes, as long as I remember to actually put it on there, as I kind of forgot this week.
That was so funny.
My brain's fried right now. I got so much going on with work.
I think everybody's got so much going on. That's like the theme right now.
I'm trying to set my 50 lineups right now. So.
Yep, you can follow me at Hollywood Titan. I'm kind of the same places everywhere that Dan is. IDP Lounge, IDP Nation, Facebook.
Can't get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, you keep following me.
He tries to get rid of me.
I do, and it's just like a bad rash. It's always there.
I'm at Flavorize This. I'm at the DFD site. I'm doing the weekly rankings. You can ask me star questions, DFS. Whatever you like. We're here for you.
So, guys, something I wanted to throw out to you guys before we start taking some questions here is, week 1 can always kind of put us on tilt. Some players or teams really overperform, really underperform what we thought going in. Who's a team or a player you're really keeping your eye on for week 2 to kind of see if week 1 was an outlier?
Yeah. You want to go start?
Go ahead.
Go for it, man.
I like my big pickup was Logan Thomas. And I think he's got a great matchup versus the Cardinals. Cardinals defense seems to be better than we thought it would be. But I'm looking at Thomas. I'm actually starting him in pretty much all my flex spots and in a bunch of DFS. So I think he's one player that I think could really break out and keep going. Deontay Johnson. He's not really much of a surprise, but I think he had 10 targets last week. And the Broncos defense is kind of ripped apart right now. They're missing a cornerback. They're obviously missing Von Miller. I think he could be somebody that does a lot of damage this week.
Hollywood, Dan, anybody you're kind of looking at that, trying to see if week 1 was a fluke or a portending of what's to come?
I think one of the ones that we've heard a lot about is Marcus May. He had an outstanding week 1, and people have asked, is he for real? I liked him coming out, so I think he can be. I don't know that you're going to see the performance he had on Sunday, but he's definitely one to watch and see. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect that every week. That's kind of top of the top. But I think if they use him the same way Jamal Adams was, he could creep up into the top 12 safeties.
Yeah, I agree. That's been the biggest name we've heard has been Marcus May.
One thing as a team on the whole, I think a lot of us came into the season thinking that the Titans were going to be one of the contenders, certainly for that division and to make maybe a push, and really did not deliver week 1. But I'm curious to see, Rivers is definitely long in the tooth and getting towards the end, but I think that defense is sound, and he did put up a ton of yards. So I'm very curious to see, like, week 2 should give us a much better indication of if it's time to just fade him across the board or if week 1 was just a new everything. So that's definitely one I'm taking a look at.
Colts,
go ahead.
I think that's interesting. Like the Colts, Rivers, he threw 40 times. And, I'm not sure that's sustainable for him, but I think that he could do some damage this week with, Mo Alley Cox, the guy he's got a fun name to play.
The ballers call him Gigantor. Or something. 6'7" or something.
That's the insider info you get here. That's right.
Yeah. And I think they'll probably run Jonathan Taylor a bit more today with the Mac injury. So you might see a little more of a balance for that team. But I mean, I can't see Rivers throwing 40 times. If he does, I mean, he's going to be one of the great sleepers this year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see Rivers so much as a fantasy option. It's more like what that team does as a whole. Because if that offense is effective, especially with the Mac injury, Taylor becomes a much higher upside guy his first year than we first thought. It looked like they were going to share a lot of time. What can Hilton give you? Rivers targeted Campbell quite a bit, maybe more than some thought. And that defense says, if you're playing, standard, that defense has a lot of field week to week. Yes, we're anti-standard.
Well, a guy that's coming on the IDP Lounge on Friday has T-shirts that say expletive team defense. So and we're on board with that. So.
Yeah. So any other sort of outliers you guys are really up or down on this week?
I guess you got to be down. I mean, the Buffalo linebackers actually are both out. So, I mean, you're looking at a Miami offense that has an opportunity to run on Buffalo because, I mean, they had a decent front, but, your two stud linebackers aren't going to be there. I was watching some other shows this morning. It's talking about betting lines, and the over is something to go for in that game because neither one really showed they could stop anybody. And Buffalo without those two linebackers, I mean, they still have great corners and secondary, but Fitzmagic should bounce back. And I think Buffalo is a team to target some points against because, that normally Edmonds and Milano are shutting a lot of stuff down.
You're talking about linebacker matchup play. I'm really high on the Eagles tight ends this week because I think linebackers can be exposed by the tight end, and I think both can play. I mean, the Eagles have shown they'll target both of them.
Are we buying that Goddard's going to have another big game like he did last week?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm in on it. Yeah.
They played two tight end sets all the time because they have no wide receivers.
Right. Well, very true. Very true.
And kind of by Ertz's own admission, it seems like the Eagles are ready to kind of wrap up that part. All right, let's start taking some questions here. From Eric Rogers, Brian Poole, long-term starter if you have to start a cornerback.
He's playing for the Jets, right? I think if you have to start a cornerback, I mean, he's kind of a hybrid because he's played some safety for the Falcons in the past, and I know the Jets are kind of hurting in the secondary.
He'll get you a few sacks along the way. I said he'll get you a couple of sacks along the way too. So, and he does play for the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are going to be on the field on defense a lot, or they'll get scored on a ton, and they won't be on a lot. So it really depends, I guess.
All right. Flex in the PPR. Benny Snell, Anthony Miller, Devante Parker, or Ronald Jones. Steve, you got a take on that?
I'm not much of a Rojo guy, but this is the week if you're going to play him. I mean, that Panthers defense is terrible. He should get a ton of yardage unless Fournette somehow magically makes his way in there. He'd be the guy. Connor's back. Anthony Miller is not a bad play. Devante Parker, I mean, we're just talking about how that game could be a shootout. I'm more Preston Williams than Devante Parker, so I'd go Rojo on this one.
Any contrary takes?
I'm going to go with Anthony Miller because the Giants secondary, we have trashed it the past couple weeks. They have gotten a little bit better. They have added Logan Ryan. But, I mean, Slayton and or not Slayton, we're playing the other team, Juju and Deontay. I mean, Deontay Johnson, if he could catch one of his 13 targets or however many he had the other night, would have probably been worse. And even James Washington got in. So I think Anthony Miller. Now they could feed Allen Robinson to try to make him happy again. That's my only fear, really, because that normally comes after a superstar wide receiver complains. But can Trash Bisky actually get him the ball is a good question.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Dan on Miller. I would like Benny Snell if Connor's not in. If he wasn't.
He's been fully cleared.
Yeah,
so.
That scares me. I think they're going to split. Ronald Jones, I like him. I really do. My one fear would be maybe Fournette sneaking in and vulturing those touchdowns. maybe short yardage stuff like that. But
McCoy's there too. I mean, they have so many.
I think it is going to be clear though that Ronald Jones is going to be the guy there pretty quick. They're playing Fournette's a lot. It's going to be a mistake. But I would say this: if you're not starting him this week, then when are you starting Ronald Jones?
Right.
So it falls into that category for me. But as a Giants fan, any wide receiver versus the Giants is a good play. All right.
Yeah. Well, if they're one, corner they thought was going to be a cornerstone didn't go rob people in Florida.
Yeah. It was not a great start. Not a strong career start.
Yeah. Robbing people is bad, folks. Don't do it.
Good happens in Florida.
Don't go trying to shoot up mansions.
Or is it Jerry? Need to start two of them.
Oh man, Hewitt, and I'm probably going to go Bostic because I don't believe in Jerry being the top linebacker there. I've been denying it all off season. I guess that he's going to be relevant, so I'm going to stick with my.
Who does Bostic have?
Take Bostic's playing the Cardinals, so Hewitt's playing the Niners. The Niners are going to run the ball down the Jets' throat.
Yeah, definitely start Hewitt. I think I'm going to go Jerry here. I don't like either one of them, actually, but definitely start Hewitt.
I mean, Cole Holcomb's out. So, I mean, Bostic is going to play. And
yeah,
if you can get to the second level past that dominant line, then
yeah.
But Bostic even was blitzing last week. Like, they used him all over the place.
Both you guys agreed that Hewitt was both of you locked him in. Can you talk about why?
Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert are going to be shoved down the Jets' throats after the Niners probably jump out to a 14-0 lead because the Jets are just god awful. And
they don't have anybody else. Williamson's out, Mosley's out, Cashman's out, so he's like the last one they've got to play linebacker.
The Lone Ranger.
Last man.
He's going to get a ton of opportunities, and he's the only guy there basically. So it's kind of a win-win for him and fantasy owners on that point.
Right on. All right, let's see where we're at here. All right, morning. Is Aldon Smith for real, or is he smoke and mirrors?
I like what you did there, Dave. I'd like to say he's back, but I wouldn't vault him in the top. He's not a top guy. I mean, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. I mean, I think he'll be a decent spot start depending on who you got and injuries. Obviously, we talked about injuries being a big part of what we got to deal with, and I think he's not going to get you. Like we said about Marcus May, he's not going to get you the number one overall scorer of the position every week, but he'll get you something. I mean, I think he's a decent play.
Good option.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, don't make him explode.
Who's anybody that falls in that category that you feel was a real fluke from week one, who really blew up that you think we will not talk about again?
I think possibly Chris Barnes from the Packers could be. I mean, he could. I'm just throwing it out there. He could prove me wrong, definitely, because we've been talking about that second guy with Kirksey,
right.
And we listed everybody but Chris Barnes in preseason. So I don't know. Maybe he's the guy. Maybe Oren Burks. Daryl's been talking about Oren Burks for like 2 years now.
I know. It looks like it's finally time to cut bait and let it go.
Yeah. Ty Summers. He could very well be better than Kirksey. Point wise, he outscored him.
Yeah.
But I think that's another hit the brakes. Don't start him this week. If he's on waivers and you have somebody on IR, go grab him. That's what I'm doing right now is checking to see who's on IR and who I can grab and stuff like that.
If you're desperate for an injury or something and you need somebody and there's no one, he's worth the pickup, definitely. But I think sometimes in week one we get so excited with these big breakout performances. We don't kind of pump the brakes, as Dan said, and just kind of look at it and see what it is. So
yeah, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show started, but this season, kind of more than ever, with the injuries and the new shortened IR, depth and kind of flyer plays may play a role more than we've ever really seen before. So it is going to, fantasy players that pay attention to those guys and are really kind of aware of where their fill-ins are coming from are going to have a real advantage this season for sure.
I mean, like I was saying, I just picked up CJ Board in some best balls because I need there's nothing on the waiver wire, so you're putting guys in your IR spots if you're lucky, if they're out, if you can do that, and you just pick up flyers, especially in best ball. I mean, if you're in best ball leagues, I love best ball leagues because I have too many lineups to set in the first place. But then that's something you do have to keep checking. I mean, if you're just to draft it and let it go and let it play out,
Right.
like I put 4 guys on IR this morning and had to replace them because it's just the nature of. I mean, I do like that the NFL. Some of the teams seem to be very transparent with who is being out on like Saturday, because a lot of times. You got your Bill Belichick's of the world that won't let you know until 2 seconds before the game kicks off or when inactives are. Yeah, I mean, even he's slid some people. He hasn't declared them inactive, but then, they won't play.
Yeah.
Sleeper just told me Cortland Sutton is playing.
Okay, good.
So
somehow I've got a bunch of shares of him, and I don't know how, but okay.
I have one. I'm still not playing him now. I don't think. A shoulder injury is tough, and he's got a tough matchup to begin with. So he got a better option.
He's a tough guy, though. He does play. He plays in a way that I think he muscle through it. Yeah.
I'm not doubting the toughness.
You're doubting the tough matchup. Yeah, I got you.
I'm just saying we saw. I mean, coming back from injury and trying to play, like Mike Evans last week. He gutted it out and played, but the touchdown saved any semblance of a game. I mean, if you didn't have that touchdown, you wasted a roster spot there. So, I mean, you got to be careful with guys coming off injuries. Like, even if Kenny Galladay was active today, I wouldn't probably touch him because hamstring injuries, especially the week after, it's tough to play them. I mean, you don't have a choice. You play them. But if you have a choice.
Depends how these weeks go. But
you want to avoid hamstrings as much as possible. But
for sure. All right, Antonio Gibson or James Conner? Steve, you want to jump on that one first?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like Gibson this week. It's kind of more of a dice roll than Conner. I like his upside because I think they're going to be throwing to the backs a lot. He's going to get a bunch of touches. Man, that's super tough. Conner could the Broncos could fall behind, and Conner could. Rush against them the whole fourth quarter. It's just one of those things. No, I mean Connor's the safe play. I think Gibson is the upside play though.
Yeah, I'm on the Conner side of that ledger. I think for a number of reasons, but one is essentially if you're going to be off Snell, you need to be on Conner, right? That's going to be a game where we know what the Steelers defense can do. I think they're going to get up on a lead. I think they're going to be able to run. Plus, much like help out the disgruntled guy, I think they're going to want to feed Conner, and if he can go, will produce.
I like Conner. I just don't think. I don't know. I think he'll get more touches than Gibson. I still think we're going to see Peyton Barber get 5 2-yard carries and not be very productive.
Yeah, I still think Snell gets a few carries, but it's not going to be enough to make Conner.
Yeah, I think.
And if it's not, we really know on Conner, right? I mean, if it's Snell week again, now we completely reevaluate that situation.
Yeah. This week,
somebody on Friday night said that it was actually an argument with a coach that is what benched him in that game. So it maybe not have been necessarily injury related.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but it's not surprising just looking at sort of the sideline body language and the way that script played out. Because
I did see that somewhere. I don't remember where, but I saw that. I thought it was interesting. So I think this week for that Pittsburgh backfield will tell you a lot where the carries go, how they're used. That will tell you a whole lot, I think, going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm pouring one out for D Ford right now because I had to drop him in the IDP guys invitational.
I have a Reddit question.
Because we have such shallow rosters in the IDP invitational that I didn't want to drop Van Dresch, even though that's probably the better drop. And there's no IR, so I had to drop him so I could pick up Ryan Kerrigan and play him.
All right, let's get the Sorry, let's get the Matt's question on the screen, then we'll hit your Reddit question, Hollywood.
Okay.
So, are any of you guys confident starting Jordan Fuller this week?
If I don't have anything better, sure.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the snaps. I mean, it seems like they're happy with him. I mean, we debated this on Friday night about, was it because Rapp was still coming back from injury, or was it because he's just outplaying him? And either way, I think you're going to see more of the same. So I think Jordan Fuller will get more playing time than Rapp this week, unless Rapp is 100% healthy, which I haven't seen a report on Rapp's health. But
Me either. I haven't seen anything. So
I'd roll a Fuller tentatively. I mean, if you have better options, go with the better options. But
right.
All right, Hollywood, you said you had a question from Reddit?
This comes from ball slapping bro. He wants to know.
Does he know Johnny's alter ego?
He may do it.
Cheek splitting Johnny.
Boy.
He wants to know if between Jerome Baker and Fred Warner, he says he's leaning Baker because the Jets their offense probably won't be on the field much.
I'd go Baker. Baker was a monster the other day.
I'm a Baker guy just in general.
And, I mean, Buffalo is going to – I mean, they're trying to be a passing team, but at the heart of what they do is a running game,
Okay, man.
Whether that's Josh Allen or whether that – I mean, Josh Allen is going to be similar to Cam Newton with all the running he did. So I think Baker – all the red zone clips they showed of that game, I saw Baker 55 making the plays. So.
He was chasing down Cam, chasing down receivers. He was everywhere, actually. So he had, I think, 13, 14 sacks last week.
Sacks?
Or not sacks, tackles.
I was going to say, that would be a record.
Tackles, I'm sorry.
He's coming after LT.
Yeah, so over under of 10, where you at?
Tackles?
He had 13 last week, I think. 13 tackles.
I'll go over.
Okay. Well, I would too. Yeah, I'm in on Baker.
I mean, combined. I mean,
that's what it was.
Counting assists. I mean, if you're not counting assists, then probably under. Because it's hard for anybody to get 10 solos in a game.
All right.
Right.
These IDP questions keep rolling in here. Mike Kaiser, Kenneth Murray, Jeremy Chin, or Jonathan Abram? Dan, you got to take?
I guess Kaiser. He played a pretty decent chunk of snaps. I mean, I'm not in love with that pick, but Murray, Kansas City, I think, is going to destroy them. Which means second half could see a lot of tackle opportunities. But I'm going Kaiser. It's tough. Carolina's playing Tampa. I'm going to roll with, I think, Abram as a more stable, solid play. Although Chin played 100% of snaps, so they're both good options. I think you go Abram. The Saints match up Monday night. I like having guys on Monday night because it gives me something to watch for.
I normally do too, but I'm going to go a little opposite. I like those Monday night games too, but I'm going to go a little opposite. I'm going to go Chin and Kaiser. I just think Jeremy Chin's going to be something special down there. And he already had a really good week one where we saw, as me and Dan's talked about, feels like for weeks now, you got rookies like Willie Gay that just didn't even sniff the field that we expected to, but he actually did. Chin did. He got a full complement of reps and produced too. So I'm going with Chin, and then I like Kaiser as well.
Right on. All right, little
Kaiser Sose.
little home cooking question right here. What up, fellas? David Montgomery or Alan Lazard in PPR?
I feel like we know this guy.
Yes, we do. We do know you're biased.
Belly you full? Bell.
Yeah, I don't know how you say that. Belly full.
Belly full. It's belly full. It's like after a good meal. I learned. I'm just busting some chops here.
All right, it's all right. Yeah, I'd go David Montgomery, to be honest with you there. I just think there's a more complete meal to eat there against the Giants than anyone who ever isn't the number one receiver for the Packers. That just feels like a floor play to me, really clearly.
I'm going for
a different take.
I'm going for the Lazard King. Like, I don't know. I know Montgomery's probably the safer play, but nothing he has done. I mean, he has been probably one of the most boring. He had 1,000 yards last year, I think. He's been one of those most boring 1,000-yard rushers, I think, ever.
Yeah, I'm not a Montgomery fan.
Yeah, I'm not either. So
I think Montgomery may be the safer, but I have a strange feeling this game could just both teams could get into the 30s and 40s like a shootout. So if that's the
Packers
case,
game, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you got to start. For me, I would start Lazard.
I think Aaron Rodgers has been so greatly disrespected this offseason that he's just on the FU tour. He's just on the I'm going to torch every defense I see, and Detroit doesn't have the corners to keep up with.
Oh God, no, they don't.
With the receivers. So I mean,
I agree.
They're going to double Adams, I would expect.
And you never know if Jamie Collins gets thrown out again.
Yeah, that was almost as stupid as Rashaan Evans getting thrown out of the game.
Don't remind me.
Steve, where you at?
Yeah, I mean, I have Monty as the 19th best running back for this week. I think they could really tear up. Monty and Cohen could really do some damage versus the Giants. But I hear what you're saying about Lazard. That line I think went up 4 points, 6 points since the opening. Yeah. It's going to be a shootout. Lazard's going to get his. It's probably about equal, but I mean, Lazard, again, is the upside play. Monty's the safe play that's going to get you probably 10, 11 points, but Lazard can probably get you close to 17, 20 if it goes the right way.
So we got a classic kind of floor versus ceiling play there. Check the lineup construction. That should inform it.
Go for it. You know you want to watch your Packers, so you want to cheer for your Packers.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? That
is true. Yeah, at the end of the day, the game's for fun, so enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a repeat question, so we'll hit it real quick. Chris Port wants to know Hewitt or Bostic. It looks like Hewitt's the answer there for both of you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hewitt. The Niners are probably going to ram the ball down their throats. So
okay.
It's going to be ugly.
All right.
It should be, yeah.
From Mike Renard. Hey, guys. KJ Wright, Chandler Jones, or Harold Landry in the IDP flex?
Anybody but Landry.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on if sacks are highly rewarded, then I'm going Chandler Jones. If it's just basic sack, 3 points maybe for a sack, then I'm going with KJ Wright because I think Wright will get you more tackles.
Agreed.
Chandler Jones will get you the higher play. So if it's a big play or a high sack league, go with Chandler Jones. But if it's just regular, go with KJ Wright. He'll be solid again. They'll be chasing Cam around all night, I'm sure. Him and Bobby Wagner, and Jamal. But KJ Wright, I think, is the floor play, I guess, and then Chandler Jones is the big play. I need huge points play because Jones. I mean, Dwayne Haskins. I'm still not sold that he's an NFL quarterback. So he's playing against him. That Washington offensive line. I mean, we talked about how bad the Eagles' offensive line was last week. I mean, I don't think they really did much with Haskins. They didn't really put him in any positions to have to. He won them the game, but they didn't really have to do much.
Haskins flashed. Haskins has flashed in a pretty terrible situation. I'm neither out nor in on him at this point. That's sort of my take.
Yeah, I have him in a couple leagues, and I'm definitely not playing him yet until he starts putting up some numbers.
Right.
So I'm gonna give Chris another shot here since we kind of ripped through his question here.
Yeah.
Chris Ford, half PPR flex. Parker if he suits up. MVS, Gore, Snell, or Coleman, group champions.
Man.
Gotta have to think on that.
Man.
That's not a lot of.
He suits up tells
tough.
me that. I mean, if he does suit up, I think you got to roll with him. Even though he's got the tough matchup against Tre'Davious White, but I mean, if you want the boring play, it's got to be Gore because they're going to feed him. I think.
I like
I think so too.
I kind of like Coleman if it shoots out like I've been, or not shoots out, but if the Niners ground them into the ground, Coleman's going to get half the carries.
I love Mostert this week, but we know the Shanny relationship to Coleman says he's going to get his touches, and I think they're going to be able to run.
Yeah, and Coleman doesn't have to worry about air quality on the East Coast here, so So.
And Coleman can catch the ball. So
He can, yes.
You need some of those
half
PPR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts, Steven? How about you?
It's tough. I mean, we're going to see some McKinnon too. They're working him in. I mean, I do feel you about the Coleman. If he gets his touches, today's the day, because against the Jets, all three of those running backs could clean up. I like the shoot. I still like the shootout potential of that Miami game. But Coleman's the safest play there.
Just wanted to bring this up real quick. I just had to put Le'Veon Bell, Chris Godwin, and Michael Thomas on IR in one league.
Ouch. Wow.
So
anybody in their own personal leagues, let's take a quick break from the questions here. Anybody in their personal leagues facing tough lineup decisions they want to talk out?
Yeah, I got one. Let's see what you guys think. I got Rieger or Logan Thomas as a flex spot. Yeah, I
go Rieger, the younger speedster.
See, I don't know. I think I'd go Logan Thomas. So I think Rieger didn't have many opportunities last week. He was actually one of the people I wrote about. He got one catch, I think, for 19 yards or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Huh?
55.
55? Okay.
Yeah.
I may be thinking about somebody else.
I think they can take a couple shots with Rieger. And remember, he was on the injury report leading up, then cleared out. Now another full week. I don't know. I kind of like him.
I think Logan Thomas is
I think
more in position to get a touchdown. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Does that help or just confuse you more, Steven?
Nah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning low. I was hoping to get talked into Rieger because I'm going Thomas just because I think he could be with the breakout guy. But if you guys were like heavy on Rieger, I could be convinced. I mean, it's close for me. So yeah.
Just in relationship, Seahawks, Dan, to the guys you had to put on IR, we have a really helpful comment. Dingus, you should draft better.
I have a stacked team. I won the championship back-to-back years, so it's not about drafting better. It's a shallow roster, man. It's.
Then again, he also thinks McKinnon is the answer, so we can, disregard
McKinnon.
And he may be right on that. You never know this week.
Well, hey, Jet McKinnon actually made it to the field without getting hurt this year, so that's an improvement over his past 2 seasons.
For a game. All right. Jonathan Abram or Adrian Phillips lost Derwin for the year.
Ooh, that's close.
It is close. I think they were pretty equal as far as last week. I'd go Abram.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I don't think Phillips, Miami, I don't know. They didn't really seem to do much offensively last week. So Phillips got a lot of cleanup jobs, whereas I think Abram's going to face more from the Saints. More opportunities probably.
Here's a question that I think is more complicated than it may seem on the surface. So Deebo Samuel is available in waivers, nearing return. Should I drop Emmanuel Sanders or Fournette or avoid? Anybody have
I would not drop Emmanuel Sanders until Michael Thomas is back. And then even then, I mean, Sanders came in and I think one of the things when he came in, he was targeted. So if he was on the field, he was getting looks from Breeze. Fournette, it might be. I don't know. They signed him to use him, but are they signing him for like the end of the season where they're going to try to ground out the games, towards the end, or trying to figure out what Bruce Arians is thinking about his backfield is. You might as well, I don't know, spin a roulette wheel and figure it out.
I mean, Debo's going to be the number one guy at San Francisco forever, right? So it's going to be
forever. Is he a vampire?
Yeah, he's a.
If he was a vampire, I thought he'd be able to get on the field a little quicker.
In the short term.
Only at night games. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a long. Like, if it's a dynasty league, that's the way to go. Is to drop Fournette. Drop Fournette and get Debo. I think Debo's going to get back eventually. He's going to start killing it.
If it's a dynasty, which we would think that it is, to me that is a no-brainer. You could drop either one of those guys. So I think the point is, if you're choosing between the two, the Sanders call is going to be more useful in the short term if you're covering for Mike Thomas there. But I think you want Deebo Samuel on your roster, and him being out on the waivers in a dynasty is kind of shocking. So it makes me think that maybe it's a redraft league.
Yeah.
In which case,
probably.
In
I don't think any dynasty you would drop him.
Right. Yeah. So I'd probably move on Fournette, and maybe if you're just from a strategy standpoint. Oh, and it looks like somebody had the same idea I just did. You might be able to make a quick trade for a little something if it's a dynasty league. Future second, third, something like that, just to add a little something and pick them up. So,
some out news.
Yes, it is a redraft, by the way.
It's a redraft.
There we go.
So yeah, I would drop Fournette.
Josiah DeGuara and Kenny Clark are out for the Packers. So I know Kenny Clark, I think he was ruled out the other day. Some of these ins and outs are coming in. So we'll try to update those as those, anybody that's important, we'll try to hit.
Let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think about Cephas today versus the Pack?
He had 10 targets, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're coming from behind, they're going to be chucking it. So, I mean,
yeah.
and he looked like he belonged. That's the thing I look for rookies. Early games is not so much what is the production value early, but do they belong on the field? And he did, and that matters. And they like him. He's going to have the opportunities, no doubt.
I got him in a ton in DFS. I'm really high on him this week, so I just wanted to bounce it off you guys, see what you think.
Yeah.
And Miles Sanders is officially active.
Nice.
Yeah, they said he was 100% going into the week.
Yeah, Jannard Avery is not active though for your defensive guys, which is a shame.
All right. Scott Temple needs one. Sweat or
Sweat or sweat. I'm going with Montez because Sweat's probably since the Eagles did not deactivate Brandon Graham or help me out here, Hollywood. Derek Barnett. So they're both starting. So that means Josh Sweat's going to take more of a rotational role rather than the starting role this week. So I'm going Montez.
Yep, me too. That front six they were everything that we expected and more last week. Now, will they do that again this week? I don't know. But I think the two that you want there is definitely Chase Young and Montez Sweat because he's just going to be so freed up. So, yeah, Montez is where you go.
Chase Young, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard he's pretty good.
He's all right. He's all right at football. Yeah. All right. Our friend Facebook user.
I got one for you.
Okay, we'll hit it right after this one here.
Okay.
PPR, flex, DK against Gilmore or Hines against the Vikings. Hines Ward still playing?
Naheem, come on, Naheem the Dream.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
I'd almost go with Hines because I think with the Colts they're going to be in a fifth. I think it's going to be pretty much a 50-50 split. They gave Hines goal line carries over Mack and Jonathan Taylor last week, so they're going to use him around the goal line. River loves to dump stuff off because his arm is jelly anymore. So,
he really does.
But are we sold that Gilmore's going to follow Metcalf though?
He's probably not, but I think they won't let a one-on-one on the outside go route happen. I think Belichick's a little smarter than Dan Quinn was last week.
Right.
Dan Quinn let a one-on-one on press coverage, and Metcalf just smoked him. And that was really, I mean, Metcalf had one other catch. He dropped another touchdown, I think.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, DK is going to get his, but I mean, if you're coming down to, I think, a guy, Hines, who's, I know I love Jonathan Taylor, but it doesn't seem like they're ready to hand him the full workload on the goal line and all. At PPR, dump off. Devante Parker is indeed active, is the sleeper notification. So whoever was saying, do I start Parker? I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other choices weren't blowing it out of the water.
Yeah.
I think
I was just going to say I have Hines as the 24th best back this week for PPR. I got DK at 26 for wide receivers. I think Hines is the way to go, but I think this game though, tonight, I think the Patriots get blown out. It's going to be bad.
I hope so.
It's going to be real bad. So
I really do hope so, but I'm always hesitant to say my team's going to blow out anybody because I know they can start so bad, so slow, often.
Russ is legally obligated to make all games close. Actually,
he is, and even the Falcons game, the defense let them crawl back in. I got some outs if we want to go over some of them. Aquaman is inactive. I don't know you were playing him anyway, but Mark Barron's inactive for the Broncos. For the Bucks, Cam Gill, our buddy Cam Gill, is inactive again. Khalil Davis on the D-line. And, of course, Chris Godwin was announced out the other day. Trufant is out. Trufant is out. Galladay is out. Hunter Bryant is out. Julian Aquara is out. So don't start any of those guys. Ted Ginn Jr. is out. Nobody else for the Bears. That's really surprising. Quinn and Mack are both active, so that's good news as Quinn didn't play
I just saw
week.
that Quinn's supposed to play, so that's good for them.
Daryl's good buddy Vic Beasley's out, as is Darrington Evans. As is Darrington Evans is out again. So, I mean, I know a lot of people drafted him hoping he would do something, and he's not even seeing the field yet. Cameron Dantzler for the Vikings is out, the rookie corner. Harrison Hand is out. Minnesota could be in trouble because half of their secondary's out.
I think
Lazard Day. Yep.
The Lazard King. Chad Beebe is also out in case you're rolling with him. The Cowboys actually have a pretty light out list. Here, Tyron Smith is out. That could be big.
Yeah, the Cowboys O-line, which was one of the best strengths in all football, is not looking hot this year.
Yeah, their shine has kind of worn off here. If any more roll in here, Roto World is killing me. By the way, actually, there's a couple more. D Ford is out. We mentioned that earlier. George Kittle's out, and Jason Verrett is still out, and Richard Sherman is on IR, so they're without their two starting corners. Unfortunately, I don't think Darnold has anybody to throw to take advantage of that. So, because Crowder's out, as we learned earlier this week. So,
Herndon.
Hollywood, you said you had a question from Reddit?
Yeah, this is one of my leagues actually. So I started Joe Mixon, of course, but I need I need two of these three running backs: Todd Gurley, J.K. Dobbins, or Zach Moss. It's got to be Dobbins and Gurley, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's short as Dobbins for me. Yeah, I think it is. I don't think I have to think about that much. I like Moss.
I think so.
I think it's Gurley and Dobbins.
Okay. I think Moss is going to be. I mean, Moss and Singletary, I think, are going to irritate us all year as they kind of trade games back and forth. You'll see a Moss game, right. You'll see a Singletary game. Like any running back by committee, you're going to just see a pain in the neck. That's all year. Yeah. I'm actually going to pick up the Washington. I'm in one of these stupid leagues that has team defense still. But I'm going to pick up Washington as a team defense.
Ooh, okay.
And probably start them today because I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. I think you got to.
I got the Bills, and I got the Vikings. I'm not playing, but
Bills for sure. Yeah.
I like the Bills. Yeah, YOLO, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic.
Let's see if I missed anyone here real quick. Here we go. DC Huff 84, Jay Smith, C. Kirksey, or Littleton. Need two of them.
Jalen Smith's a slam dunk. I'd probably Littleton plays for the I guess that's the Las Vegas Raiders. But yeah, I'd go with Smith and probably Littleton. I just don't really trust Kirksey yet.
I'm gonna take Kirksey.
Good Jalen Smith and Littleton.
All right, we have a Jalen Smith a lock for you. You're gonna have to pick between Kirksey and Littleton. All right.
I'm a Littleton hater, and I'm picking Littleton over him, so that tells you something.
I think they're both close. I mean, Yeah.
And one more from him. Neal Johnson third. Collins need 2.
Collins and John Johnson.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know though. As sure as I say that, Neil's going to do something. Just as sure as I say bench him.
Here's one. Here's one, and this is killing me. This is the league I had to put Michael Thomas and Godwin and Bell and IR. I have to choose one out of Leonard Fournette, Benny Snell, Eric Ebron. They're probably my only 3 guys I can probably start.
Ebron is a slam dunk there. You gotta do it.
I think I'm rolling 2. I have Ertz too, so I'm rolling 2 tight ends, I guess. Ebron, I really thought was going to have a monster week 1.
Thank you. I was so ready for him. He killed so many lineups for me.
I know, because I was like, oh man, he's going to catch touchdown after touchdown from Ben around the goal line, but he barely got targeted.
Giants is like gold every year, you know.
They're playing Denver. I mean, Denver, Josie Jewell, I think he got benched because he got lit up by some tight ends last year. So hopefully he can work some magic.
With Steven, with Godwin out, how high up are you on Evans after week 1's kind of shakiness?
I got Evans at 7 for wide receivers this week. I mean, this is the kind of thing where he scores 30, 40 points because they just focus on him. I like Scotty Miller, not as much as I think everybody else, but I think they're going to key on him, and it might be a nice OJ Howard day, but Evans he's going to go off today, I think.
If you have Evans, you're playing him.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Last week was wavering, but you were playing him this week.
I think that question falls more into the DFS question, kind of full of how high up are you going with him?
Yeah.
He's
expensive, but he's worth it, I think, this week.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron's saying he was disappointed with their usage of him says something to me too. Like he was kind of putting that on him.
Right.
So.
DFS question. I heard some people were saying that Devante Adams is like a slam dunk start. Is he just as big? Is he a slam dunk start for you guys in DFS?
I think he's 8,200 on DraftKings, which is crazy expensive. And he's going to be like 30% owned.
Cash game, yes. GPP, no. There's going to be too many people on him, and he's pricey. I'm gonna look in other ways, but you get for cash games, he's such a safe play, both in what he does every week and in the matchup.
I mean, Lazard in the tournaments, I think, but I mean, Adams still might get 14, 16 targets. It's going to be crazy this year. He might get
play. Lazard and Tourneys is the play.
Yeah.
Let's see where we at here.
How is Clyde Edwards-Hilaire only $8,000 on DraftKings?
It's the second game.
I mean,
guys. I mean, Kyler Murray's under 7. There's just as the young guys have to prove it.
That seems ridiculous to me after his 1 week. I mean, the Chargers have an okay defense, but I think the second half you're going to see a healthy dose of Clyde Edwards-Hilaire after Mahomes throws like 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a great leverage play too, because I think CEH is like 5% owned compared to, like 28-30% for Henry and Elliott. So if you're going the other way in tournaments, I mean, you're not losing much. If you go CEH, I mean, you're going to get some leverage there.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that because last week they played on Thursday night, so he wasn't in the main slate.
So Keanu Neal is a name that's just a popular to discuss right now. So Marcus May, Keanu Neal this week. Is Neal droppable if he has another mediocre start?
I'm starting May. Is he droppable? It depends on what you're picking him up for. I mean, anybody that's not getting opportunity. I mean, he's starting almost 100% of snaps. So I mean, he's out there. It's I would not say that Seattle's game plan was typical Seattle game plan last week. So they may have had a different mindset on defense because normally it's ram the ball down your throat, but he probably is. I mean, he's lost the last 3 seasons to injuries, so I think as long as he stays healthy. Yeah, you have to tell me what's on your waiver wire that's better than Keanu Neal.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's probably. I mean, I'd start May this week because May seems to be in a good position to eat. So
I think I put this one up and then pulled it down. So I'm sorry about that, Scott.
That's all right.
Scott Temple needs 2: Jordan Fuller, Brandon Jones, or Gardner Johnson.
Well, Calvin said CD Deuce. Chauncey Gardner Johnson's nickname. I think nickname-wise, you just got to start him. I would go with Brandon Jones. Jones played a lot of snaps, and he's more of the strong safety role than the other two safeties they have, because the other two safeties they have are converted corners. So they're better in coverage. And Brandon Jones, I mean, he looks really good. I mean, Jordan Fuller is going to be more an off-ball safety, where John Johnson's more the strong guy. So I'm going with CD Deuce and Brandon Jones just out of the – I kind of want to see Fuller do it again. I know he said he could start him earlier, but I kind of want to see if he can put together a decent back-to-back performance. He played a lot of snaps. I'm not sure he was super productive that you'd say, oh, I got to start him. Whereas Jones had about 7 tackles and 1 or 2 or 3 assists, something like that. 1 or 3, I can't remember. Him and Chin had very similar games.
All right, from one Fuller to the other. Well, this isn't any. I don't know who you're comparing him to, but
I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, right. So I allow me to go on a short Will Fuller rant. At some point, you're not going to have him available. When he's available, you play Will Fuller.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's the whole thing.
They don't have any other weapons, really.
It's the only thing. He can always explode. He can always go nuts. There's a lot of yes. I expect Baltimore to dominate that game, but Fuller will get his numbers on the back end if he needs to. He's always got a very, very high ceiling, but this year his floor is much higher without Nuck. And so, play him. And when he pulls a hammy in the third quarter, there you go. You got what you got from him. Anything else?
No, I love it. I mean, I have him 18th for today, 18th best wide receiver. And just to echo what you said, I mean, you got to play him. I mean, when he's healthy, he can go for 3 touchdowns. He can go for crazy numbers. So you just play him for that upside, no matter who he's playing against.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite cheap defense to play on DFS? This week.
I'm a little. I'm not playing a lot of DFS this week, so I haven't checked it as carefully at the price.
I like the Dolphins defense at 2,100 compared to some of the other ones that are down there. The cheapest that I think of that I'm playing is maybe like Tampa, 2,900 on DraftKings. I'm playing a lot of Tennessee. I mean, it's gonna be a bloodbath. They're gonna kill them.
It should be.
Yeah. So that's the way I'm going. I mean, really cheap the Dolphins, because I think Allen just makes so many mistakes. He could do a pick 6 anytime.
Very well could. Yeah.
So
Allen's one of those guys that can have a huge fantasy day and still feed the defense.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Washington just because they seem pretty cheap. I mean, they're at 3,100. That's a little higher, I guess, than Miami. They were cheaper, I think, on FanDuel. I was kind of flipping back and forth here.
You can get up to the Chiefs at 34. If you're looking at Washington at 31.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs got the Chargers, so.
The Jets are at 2,000 if I really just wanted
to. Cam Diaz, should I start? We're back to DK Metcalf or Lockett. I think the DK Metcalf or Lockett's going to be is a question pretty much every week, right?
Ready? Take your coin and flip it, because that's what Russell Wilson does when he's deciding who to throw to. Because I mean, it's not a. I hate owning both of them. I own both of them in one league, and I hate unless I'm starting both of them, which I do sometimes. Because one's going to have a great game, the other one normally doesn't. So it's really a coin toss as to which one's going to be solid. Lockett's good for 3 catches at least a week for the most part. Some of them are bombs, some of them are slants across the middle, whatever. DK is more the home run. I mean, Lockett's a home run guy too. So, I mean, really, they're both. I mean, Metcalf's about maybe not a foot taller, but he's taller. But I mean, I don't know.
Lockett's the red zone guy. So most of his touchdowns came off of red zone targets last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the second part of the question is about Corey Davis. Anytime Corey Davis
That's a pass for me.
is chalk. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather run Humphreys out there than Corey Davis. But I mean, Corey Davis, man, I've been saying it all summer. Like, contract year, Corey Davis could be crazy. But I wouldn't start him over Lockett for sure, or Metcalf.
Yeah, I mean, we have.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him.
We have no Brown. Well, wait, we got a Titans guy in the room. So
no Brown, but also it means more Derrick Henry, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. Talking about DraftKings, Derrick Henry on DFS is a smash.
Anthony Fursker.
Mm-hmm.
You make that
or Michael Pruitt.
You make the joke, but I expect one of those or a player similar to do something today. It just fits what they're doing for some reason.
Oh, Jonas Smith. Jonas Smith's, yeah, he'll get his for sure.
They're going to feed Henry. I mean, it's going to get ugly. I mean, they don't have anybody behind him. Arrington's out.
I mean, it is pre-Thanksgiving Derrick Henry, which is always a little different than post-Thanksgiving Derrick Henry, but I still expect him to smash this week.
I think he gets 4 or 5 catches today too. We'll see, but
yeah,
I'm making a bold prediction about Henry actually catching some passes today too.
I just want to see him stiff somebody straight into the ground. That's all I care about.
On the back end of this question, team defense. So you guys are excited. Chiefs or Rams?
Did you see how bad the Eagles' offensive line was?
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs' D is pretty good too, but I think Tyrod is good at just killing the play if there's nothing there.
Yeah. Although that offense against the Bengals week 1 was pretty rough, and now they're getting the Chiefs who are going to be up big and pinning their ears and just going after it. I kind of think it's one of those ones you can't go wrong, but I do agree that Eagles O-line is very beatable. Steven,
Aaron Donald over under 10 sacks this week.
Yeah, man, Aaron Donald for sure. I mean, yeah, I don't have a pick between those two. It's a toss up. I mean, I think the Eagles score more than the Chargers will today. So
yeah, that's.
I think the Chiefs D.
Eric Rodgers in a non-tight end premium league, start Higbee or take the risk and start Herndon since just have no one else to throw to.
I'm a big Higbee guy. I think today is a good day for Higbee, but Herndon, there's no one else. I mean, he could get 12 targets today. I mean, Higbee's a safe play, and I think he actually does something good today.
Yeah, I mean, if you have another flex, I mean, can you start 2? Who's your other flex that you could drop out of there and put Herndon in? Because I think Herndon will see a bunch of catches.
That said, Herndon was an obvious play to me last week and killed me.
Well, Herndon was an obvious dynasty pick for me for like 2 years now, and he has let me down over and over and over again.
So Higbee feels a little safer there, but
yeah.
I don't know if we gave you a real firm answer there, Eric. I think we agree with your assessment. Higbee's safer play there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marcus Mate or Byard?
Byard's been solid throughout his career. The floor play is fired, I think, but I think May in this. If I did, I am not doing weekly rankings this week, so I don't really dive as deep into the matchups as I used to. But I think May would be the more upside play than Byard. I mean, Byard's always good for I could get an interception because I mean that's kind of he's been known for over his career is getting big plays. But I think May.
Yeah, I think May's.
Daryl's going to go against.
That's close. That's actually close. I think you're going to get 7-8 tackles, and like Dan said, maybe a pick from Byard. But with the sacks from May, if he can do that last week, then you got to take May.
All right,
it's close though.
I like this question a lot because I think there's another close one. but Jared Cook or Goddard? Steven, you want to start us off there?
Whew. You know, now that MT's out, I like, what they're going to do probably with Cook here. I can't see him not being a focus. I mean, Traquan Smith could do something, but I think Cook becomes a focus of the passing offense probably. I mean, Kamara too is also, but I think you go Cook. I mean, this is one of his spots. I mean, Dan was talking about best balls, and this is where I'd want Cook in a best ball league because he would pop today, and then he might not do something for another 4 or 5 weeks. But I think this is a day if you're starting him just in a regular league.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Cook just because it seems like he's going to be the, I guess, third on the list of targets, maybe even second. I mean, behind Kamara and maybe Sanders. If you're looking at the pecking order for the Saints, that seems a bit where Goddard's probably third or fourth. Yeah, fourth.
Yeah, well,
so I mean,
ranking of options kind of doesn't matter that much in Philly. They just spread it around.
They do, yeah. But I think Cook will be targeted heavily. I mean, without Thomas.
I got him as a number 4 tight end, so I'm thinking, slam him.
I think I have them both as tight end one place this week, but I agree it's a Cook smash spot. I think. All right. Let's see. Fernando Garcia wants to know for a flex full point PPR, Ingram, White, Miller, Scotty Miller.
I'm assuming it's James White.
Yeah, I was going to ask which White are we talking about? It's got to be, right? There's nobody
Roddy
Roddy
White?
White, yeah.
Kevin White?
This is tough because I think Ingram's going to get a little bit more carry this week. I know they had Dobbins in around the goal line. It kind of scared me because I have Ingram in way too many leagues.
They touched pretty even splits, and then Dobbins got that goal line work.
Yeah. I'd go Ingram here just because I think he bounces back. I think Baltimore's just going to be blowing them out and just. I mean that could also mean that Dobbins gets more carries and Gus Edwards gets more second half carries. So it's a risk, definitely. But I'd go with Ingram. I think.
So, do we like Noah Fant or Dallas Goddard this week?
Did you answer the question here?
Yeah, I don't want to move on from this one here. But why does it inform your decision here?
No, I'm scared of Ingram. I just don't know what to think of it with Dobbins doing what he did last week. Like Dan, I have so many shares of him. I about have to start him in some places. So,
I was looking at the Vegas odds and the prop bets, and Ingram's in there for a lot of this stuff. And like week 1, he was in there, and you can kind of understand that. But now week 2, they've seen Dobbins what he can do, and they're still throwing Ingram in there. I mean, Ingram could be a real sneaky play. Scotty Miller, if you ask Twitter, everybody would probably answer Scotty Miller. And then I think that's why he kind of snuck into this question. White could get 12 points like he always does, 10 to 12 points. It's a nice, safe option for a flex spot. But I think Ingram's got the higher ceiling. I do think he gets a touchdown today, and I think they feed him a little bit just to keep him happy.
Yeah, I would go with that.
All right. Let's see here.
Fant too, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the Fant. Man, that Fant got it. I don't know. I am so high on Fant in a long-term sort of a way. It feels like things set up really, really well. Yeah. And it's Eagles game for the tight ends to eat. So I think I'd lean Goddard.
DFS plays while I'm asking.
I'd have to look. Honestly, I'd have to look at. Do you know what they're priced at right now?
Yeah, actually I do. Goddard is at 5,000. Fant is at 44.
That's high. Yeah. That's high. If I that.
Yeah, 40. If you could, I mean, if that 600 can make probably another slot open up pretty nicely for you in that scenario, that probably leans me more towards Fant.
Yeah.
If you've got something really targeted for that 6, you know.
Okay. Would you rather have Jonnu at 42 than just another couple hundred below those?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a Jonnu week.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I forget what Abram's at. Is he at 52?
I rolled with Herndon because he's cheap, 3,400.
Yeah,
that was what I thought last week.
That allowed me to play.
That's what I thought last week.
That allowed me to play Taylor, Moss, and Elliott at my 3 running backs, and then I have Julio Jones and Devante Adams in my lineup too. So,
Mo Alley Cox I think is 3,000, and Jordan Reed is 2,600. If you're really, he could get targets. He's a risk, but he could. Who else are they going to throw to today? Ayuk, maybe Bourne gets some.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
Sanu.
Muhammad Sanu 1 week later. I don't know.
Might have to wait a week for that one.
Yeah, I was just throwing it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
He is active, it looks like.
Herndon at 3,400. That's great.
It's a great price, but I think he was 34 or 33 last week and set up nice. I don't know. I'm a little shook on Herndon after being so high on him, but I agree. If you're trying to make the lineup switch, he is, he should see targets, and it's a really cheap buy. Should open up a lot of things for you. So,
a couple of inactives.
Yeah, go for it.
Golden Tate is inactive, active. Golden Tate is active today. Wayne Gallman's inactive. He saw some run in the other game the other day, so I guess Deion Lewis will get some workload. Not a lot, obviously, but interesting. He's out. LaMichael P. Ryan is active, so he's a guy. Some people are starting out of necessity. Rock Ya-Sin is inactive, so that's they're playing Minnesota, so Minnesota has one less corner to deal with. Kenny Moore, Rhodes, and TJ Carey will be the guys. Jake Matthews is active for the Falcons. That's good news for the O-line. And Gerald Everett is active. No big surprises in many of these games here.
We got a couple more questions, and we'll get out of here. Give everybody a chance to set their lineups.
Yeah, that's what I got to do.
Page advice. So Scott Timble's back with a powerful question of Kirk Cousins or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm going Cousins because I don't think Jimmy G has anybody to throw to.
I got him 22 and 23 in my rankings. The shootout potential, I don't know. I don't like it. This could be a big game for Garoppolo. Jets are vulnerable in that passing game. I don't know who he throws to, but he could get up 2 or 3 touchdowns, like 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's kind of a Jimmy G stat line.
If you're looking to going back to Daly, if you're looking for a cheap option at QB to stack up other spots, Jimmy G is pretty cheap, man, and he is going against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree, not a ton of options there. I'd probably lean Cousins. All right. One is, let's see here. We got one more from Cam Diaz. We appreciate you, Cam. As we were just talking tight ends, Jonnu or Hawkinson in full point PPR?
Hawk smash.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think so too.
I just think Jonnu the Titans don't care which tight end they throw to.
Yeah, they don't.
So, he could get 5 targets, but First could get 5 targets and a touchdown.
I will say
he made
his way a little more with with Brown being out.
Yeah.
So that may see an uptick his way a little bit.
I think their floors are comparable. I just think Hawkinson has a much higher ceiling.
But we talk about this all the time with Daryl. If the Titans are relying on Tannehill to win the game, it's probably a bad game.
Yeah, I know. Everybody makes pokes and has fun with me, but it's the truth. If you're wanting him
to throw, I know.
Game,
I like
we had no business winning that game last week.
I like to irritate you, so that's what happens.
Well, you do it well, ass.
I do. I'm very good at that.
All right. Steven, do you have anything different on Hawkinson or Smith?
Nah, Hawkinson, it's going to be a shootout. Hawkinson will probably get a bunch. He's trending to be one of the big breakouts for tight ends this year. And I think just like Fant, you have to ride that. Him, Logan Thomas, Fant, you ride it another week and see where it goes. Because if the trend is they're going to throw to him a bunch, then, that's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Any last thoughts? Anything anybody wanted to get out there?
Good looking week 2. Don't overreact from week 1.
Yep.
Don't do something stupid like start somebody just because you don't bench who had a bad week last week. Don't bench Mike Evans because he only had one catch.
Right.
Don't get too cute. Start your studs.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Let's let everyone get the time to get their lineups in. Good luck on week 2, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Later. See ya.
See ya.